India and Pakistan, a fragile rivalry at the heart of South Asia, more than 7 decades after their emergence from the British Raj. India and Pakistan remain two of the most geopolitically significant, persistently conflicted nations in South Asia. Bound by history and divided by ideology, their bilateral relationship continues to oscillate between cautious engagement and outright hostility. With profound implications for regional peace, economic development, and global security, the legacy of partition. The roots of Indo-Pakistani tensions can be traced to the traumatic events of 1947, when British colonial rule ended and the subcontinent was partitioned into 2 sovereign states. The creation of Pakistan, envisioned as a homeland for Muslims and India, a secular nation with a Hindu majority, has led to one of the largest mass migrations in human history and widespread communal violence. This bloody birth established a foundation of mistrust and animosity that has since defined their interactions. The Kashmir dispute remains the core issue. Claimed in full by both countries but divided in practice, the region has been the spark for multiple wars: 1947, 1965, and 1999, and continues to be a flashpoint of military and diplomatic tension. While bilateral negotiations and international mediation efforts have intermittently eased tempers, a sustainable resolution remains elusive. Contemporary dynamics, conflict, and caution in recent years. The trajectory of India-Pakistan relations has been characterized by both volatility and restraint. The 2019 Pulwama Balakot incident, in which a suicide bombing in Indian-administered Kashmir led to retaliatory Indian airstrikes inside Pakistan, brought the 2 nuclear-armed nations perilously close to war, yet the subsequent avoidance of further escalation underscored a mutual understanding of the catastrophic risks involved. In 2021, both sides reaffirmed a ceasefire agreement along the line of control, a modest yet meaningful step that has helped lower the frequency of cross-border skirmishes. Despite this, formal diplomatic engagement remains largely frozen, and trade ties severed following India's revocation of Jammu and Kashmir. Special status in 2019 have not been restored. Efforts at bactional diplomacy, often brokered by neutral intermediaries such as the UAE, continue behind closed doors. All these conversations have not yielded public breakthroughs. They reflect a latent desire on both sides to avoid confrontation and maintain strategic stability. The strategic chessboard. India and Pakistan's rivalry is not confined to the battlefield. It extends into the broader domain of regional influence and international alliances. India, with its growing economic weight and strategic partnership with the United States, is increasingly positioning itself as a key player in the Indo-Pacific region. Pakistan, on the other hand, has deepened its strategic alignment with China, most notably through the multi-billion-dollar China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, a centerpiece of Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative. This triangular alignment to U.S., Pakistan, China, has added a new layer of complexity to South Asian geopolitics. It also places both countries in the crosshairs of global power rivalries, further complicating the prospects for bilateral peace. The nuclear dimension, perhaps. The most sobering element of the India-Pakistan dynamic is their status as nuclear-armed states. Since both nations conducted nuclear tests in 1998, the specter of a nuclear conflict, accidental or otherwise, has loomed over every crisis. While nuclear deterrence has arguably prevented the recurrence of full-scale war, it has not eliminated the risk of escalation, especially in the absence of robust crisis management mechanisms or direct communication channels during emergencies. The way forward. Challenges and possibilities. Despite the depth of their rivalry, there remain areas where cooperation is both possible and mutually beneficial. Shared challenges, climate change, water resource management, public health, and counterterrorism offer potential avenues for dialogue. Moreover, the youth populations in both countries increasingly express fatigue with perpetual hostility and a desire for economic progress and regional integration. However, any path forward must confront hard realities. Without political courage, sustained diplomatic engagement, and a willingness to address the Kashmir issue with sensitivity and pragmatism, meaningful progress will remain out of reach. Conclusion: India and Pakistan are at a crossroads. They can choose to remain prisoners of history, locked in a cycle of suspicion. In confrontation, or they can begin to craft a future defined by cooperation and coexistence. The stakes are high not only for the 1.6 billion people who call the subcontinent home, but for the broader international community invested in South Asia's peace and prosperity in a world increasingly shaped by interdependence. The resolution of the India-Pakistan conflict is not merely a regional concern, it is a global imperative.